on this build. The key with the S13 is keeping it minimal, just enough upgrades to unlock tuning where it matters. On the engine, most parts are just at sport level to keep the cost low, but we did add 2 racing upgrades where they really matter. The big one is the racing engine block. It adds torque down low without pushing the power too high. Since CarX rates builds on a power to weight ratio, that keeps the S13 in the C3 class instead of bumping it up into the C4. For example, if we would have gone with a part like the racing camshaft, it would have raced high RPM torque, inflated horsepower, and forced a class jump. Just a simple workaround to add as much power as possible while keeping this car in the lower class. We kept it rear-wheel drive and went with a welded differential. That way both wheels spin together instead of the unpredictable grip you get with an open or limited slip differential. It also takes away having to tune the diff, which is helpful for beginners. For the transmission, we went racing since it's the cheapest way to unlock gear tuning, one of the most important parts of drifting. For the body, we only spent where it mattered. Racing weight reduction, dropping extra weight makes the car more predictable and easier to throw into corners without fighting momentum. Everything else stayed stock: fuel tank, front aero, rear aero, because those upgrades don't add much value for a beginner drift build. We kept the suspension parts pretty simple as well. Ultimate front and rear arms to unlock alignment settings that we need in the tuning sliders. CarX also offers a no stab option that's considered a stock part on both the front and rear anti-roll bars, which reduces coupling so weight transfer is progressive and not snappy. It keeps the welded diff from unloading the inside rear tire. The only other 2 parts that we changed were the front and rear springs. We put street on the front, put racing on the rear, mainly just to help level the car out, but it also helped calm the rear reactions whenever you're going into the drift. For tires, we kept it straightforward: 245s in the front, 285s in the rear. That stagger gives sharper turn in while keeping the rear planted and predictable. We paired that with ultimate spacers front and back, which widens the stance for better stability and a smoother transition between corners. Simple choices to make the small necessary differences. For the engine, the only option that we have to change is just the peak RPMs, which we kept low so the car always stays in the peak power band. That's where you get the smoothest pull and the most controlled mid-drift. For the drivetrain, we shortened the final drive and adjusted gears 1 through 5 accordingly to keep the car in its peak power band. Most of the time we'd be working in 2nd and 3rd gear. That's where the setup feels the most consistent. On the body side, we kept it completely stock. No changes to weight distribution or center of mass, just to keep it simple and beginner friendly. For the front suspension, we're running 8 degrees of negative camber, caster at 10, Ackerman set to 82, which can actually shift depending on your driving assist. For example, always keep counter steer assist off and the drift stabilization at 50. I'm going to include those settings in the description if you need to reference back to them. The toe is dialed at negative 0.35 to keep transition sharp without being too twitchy. On the rear, we shortened the spring slightly and softened them just a bit for balance. The rear camber is set at negative 5 with the toe at negative 0.1. Altogether, this keeps the car locked in an angle but is still quick to respond. For the tires, we max the pressure out front and rear. Higher pressure makes the car slide more consistently and keeps the drift predictable. Up front, the wheel offset is set to positive 7. That widens the stance and sharpens turn in. On the rear, offset is negative 2.5, pulling the rear wheels in slightly to make breakaways smoother and transitions more controllable. We also kept the front wheels just a touch wider than the rear. That balance helps the car widen into corners without snapping back too aggressively.